Within our world are creatures we cannot hope to comprehend. Science refuses to recognize them as fact, but Hollywood sees this as an easy cash grab. Now, join these three men as they venture into these attempts at success. You will witness the good, the bad, and the strange as you are now venturing into Cryptic Collectors.
Welcome, one and all, to Cryptic Collectors. And what's that in the water, laddie? Is that Nessie? No, it's just another film abomination on cryptids. Makes you wonder if old man McGuckin's pranking everyone that gravity falls again.
Donkey!
To this film that we're reviewing today, I say, sod off, you wee twit!
And that Scottish accent, way better than what you'll be hearing in this film.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
Okay, so a little bit of context on the Loch Ness Monster. So it is an Scottish cryptid, an alleged sea monster that
kind of like Shrek is a Scottish cryptid.
My God, do not remind me, especially with those ears in the movie. So the Loch Ness Monster, also known as Nessie, is a creature in Scottish folklore that is said to inhabit the Lake of Loch Ness in the Scottish Highlands. And it is often described as a large, long-necked, and with one or more humps protruding from the water, kind of like a camel, I guess. A water camel. At least it's not a water horse, which is
a whole
better
different movie in of
than
itself.
this movie. Yeah. And while there's been a lot of hoaxes, a lot of wishful thinking surrounding this cryptid, and it's pretty transparent as to whether this creature actually exists or not. Yeah. But there's a lot of people that are still looking for this creature.
Yeah, actually, funny thing is, I was watching something talk about the Loch Ness Monster, and someone said it's not some dinosaur that survived the prehistoric era. At best it's an extremely large eel. I was like, oh, so it's not a dinosaur, just a very large reptilian-like creature that swims
and apparently goes on land.
Yes, so
I swear to that's not even a creature. That's somebody with a giant Loch Ness Monster neck just patrolling around. I'm not even sure if that's an animatronic.
Okay.
It's just like,
okay, hold on. Before we start with the rant, mind giving us the introduction to everyone, Sippy?
I thought I did.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, no, you really didn't. You just started. You
just started ranting.
Then you start complaining.
All right. Not only am I joined here with Ace Marrok, CrookedLore, but I am also here with.
He is a pretty well known scholar, as well as I guess would be a reviewer for plenty of science fiction sites such as the SippyVA channel, as well as he's the writer of the recently released biopic on Chinese actress Rian Lingu. Get up, ladies and gentlemen, for our first guest, Mr. Patrick Galvan.
Hello, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Patrick, you know SippyVA?
Yeah, he wrote. Yeah, you wrote for the Sci-Fi channel. I remember for a little time.
Well, I wrote for their online publication, Sci-Fi Wire. Yes.
Yeah.
Did they pay you in sharks?
No, they paid me in cash. I'm happy to say.
Oh, but that's surprising. They don't do that. They usually don't use cash in films.
I like to think they use ham sandwiches for the whole time to make their films.
Well, ham's still kind of pricey, don't you think?
Well, that's why because all the budget went to me to pay for my writing. So there you go.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
And no, that's not true at all. I'm just bullshitting you.
To be fair, I'd believe you because given those movies, I would be like, yeah, they must have did it for a right cause. But yeah,
I wonder who Larry Buchanan spent his money on. He couldn't spend anything at all on this movie that we're watching today.
Could you even consider that? But anyway,
I think this movie was funded by ham sandwiches.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, there have been, as I said, a bunch of hoaxes revolving around this monster, and one particular famous photograph, the surgeon's photograph of 1934, is now known to be a hoax. And yet it is the most infamous photograph evidence of Nessie. Well, now it is a hoax, but
It's also on my license picture. They got me at the wrong angle.
so yeah, there's a lot of speculation whether this was like a dinosaur that survived the asteroid, or maybe it's some sort of dragon or sea serpent, or just another monster fish due to the misuse of radioactive chemicals, like a second Godzilla.
I say, so basically you're saying it's a mini Godzilla. Cool.
Pretty much. A Scottish wee Godzilla.
Other than
And they
Bigfoot
know it was
himself.
350.
The 350. You under the 350? And yes, I mean, in South Park helped bring it into fame.
And Simpsons had a great episode based around it, better than this film.
And Gravity Falls.
On Gravity Falls, yes. Godzilla, the anime series, also had, man, a lot of stuff did better with Loch Ness Monster than this movie did.
Nessie is easily probably the most well-known cryptid, like when it comes to being adapted into films. Like there have been plenty of adaptations throughout since her early inception. This could go back to movies like Beneath Loch Ness, the Sci-Fi Channel film, Loch Ness Terror,
And yet still no movie called Lock and Loaded.
Yet.
Or Lock Be a Lady Tonight.
Yeah.
Or
Now, of
Things
course-
Are Gonna Get Nessie.
I'm just thinking Lock and Loaded will be just a futuristic Nessie coming to enslave humanity. It is decked out with robotic parts like metal fins, and then just like a minigun that comes out of his hump.
As soon as you described this, I was just picturing like the Loch Ness Monster wearing a leather coat, wearing sunglasses, talking like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It sounds like something I see. It sounds like I see in like Danger 9 or something like that.
Yeah, and to our YouTube viewers, you may know the Loch Ness Monster being petted by Ace.
Bear in mind, that was your idea, not mine, motherfucker.
One day you will get a Nessie plushie.
What?
You will.
So, what are you for Christmas? Are you gonna literally send me the plushie that JV uses for our title card to make that?
Yes, that is the plan.
I will stop that from happening.
Yeah, also to our YouTube viewers, if you're wondering which one of the characters represents Patrick, he's the one stuck in the mirror having to listen to us.
Is it cozy in the mirror?
Oh yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. I feel very, very relaxed and in my zone, and
Oh, good, because we're not
crap
letting you
and
out.
stuck, just like I felt when I was watching this awful movie today.
Yeah, because you'd think that with someone as prestigious as you, we would think maybe a good movie would be the right call to go for. Nope.
instead you pick a film by-
Then we have to recommend this.
And suddenly you pick a film by Larry fucking Buchanan. So
Yeah.
And ever since then, every minute of my life has been pain. Thank you for this
it
opportunity.
depresses me that I've seen this film twice in my entire life.
I've seen this film 3 times in my life, and
never
that's
mind,
too
you
much.
think
I've
it's
seen
better than I
it once, but again, I'll be honest, I don't remember anything in this film other than the monster attack. Like I said before we recorded, the best way to describe this film: you're in a very boring meeting. Every once in a while, some crazy person comes in with one of those horse heads on a stick that kids play with. It just randomly beats them with it, then runs off. And then one other guy in the meeting says that didn't happen.
And it's sad because we could have easily picked a decent movie, maybe like the Water Horse film from 2007, but no, we went with Larry Buchanan film.
Because why would we want a good film?
No, of course not. I'll give the movie this. The first 10 minutes, not bad. The monster still looks goofy as fuck, but at least the movie kind of gets straight to the point and what it's trying to set up.
Yeah,
Scientists
when I saw the monster, I couldn't stop laughing.
I know, neither could I.
I said, that's the terror.
I just no.
I laughed at the opening scene where the guy's watching the plane fly around through his telescope, and his telescope has 4 different points of view instead of, even though he's actually sitting in one room the entire time. It's kind of like that scene in Jungle Goddess where those guys in the airplane looking through their binoculars, and all of a sudden their point of view is at ground level all of a sudden.
Yeah.
They're in an airplane. Same thing happens here. At one point the guy's looking through his telescope, he sees a plane bird's eye view. Then all of a sudden his view is at level to the water level of the lake. It makes no sense. It's
No, it doesn't. And then when you and the image and when he looks through it and he sees Nessie popping out of the water, that's your first sign that how good, quote unquote, wonderful this movie's gonna be.
Yeah, I feel so bad for Nessie in this. Clearly has some kind of arthritis issue in the neck.
No, the problem is Nessie is just a neck. That's all she is.
That is all she is.
Yeah, and also
With
she's
ears.
and also she's apparently an ongoing smoker because she's always smoking every single time she's on screen.
She's also related to Shrek.
And Puff the Magic Dragon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And also, she has no sharp teeth, so I don't know what she's doing to tear people apart. Yeah, and apparently in that scene, she doesn't have good, apparently good pressure behind her bike, because, the dude, didn't break the skin or anything.
I didn't really, it showed a little bit of blood, but that's honestly because I think he had ketchup on him, and it just happened to squirt out.
Now,
There's no way that was blood. If you guys want to watch this movie, just watch that scene. You get the whole idea. Yeah, that's pretty much your highlight of the film.
That's the only good, quote unquote, good bad movie moment in the entire thing.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the movie is basically Birdemic before Birdemic.
Honestly, I think it's insulting to Birdemic because this was much.
Birdemic's first half is at least funny sometimes. This is just pure
boring
nothingness.
Yeah. But Sippy, you were saying?
Yeah, my entire reaction to this film is pretty much in two parts. The first part had me feeling half of the time.
Yep.
While the other one is something that I can only describe as 5 W's and an H. What were they thinking? Who the hell thought this was a good idea? Why was this given the green light? How did they get the funds? Where is the nearest therapist? And where can I start?
Where's the nearest therapist?
Yeah. What was funny is I apparently zoned out a lot because I looked away for 1 second. Then when I looked back, the girl was kidnapped by someone. I was like, what the fuck just happened?
I didn't understand that at all.
It's I was not expecting that. I thought it was like a monster movie. What?
It just came out of Oh, and what about that one guy with the axe in the tower?
Yeah, that was weird.
He just comes out of nowhere with a friggin' axe.
Yeah.
Did you guys also make Nessie talk, by the way?
Was he even part of the movie? Is that it? Was he just a crazy old man during production? And they just happened to film it and put it in the film?
That's my theory.
They thought it was gold. It's kind of like Adam West's lines in Family Guy. He didn't have a script. They just recorded what he said.
This film has no structure. It's got nothing.
Yeah. When the director was asked about the structure, he said, "What the fuck was that?" They couldn't even get real Scottish people.
What were those accents?
I don't even. Could you even call them accents? It would just sound like gibberish.
What do you think a Scottish person sounds like? I could make it up as I go along. Yeah, well, it's better than nothing. Let's do it.
And the thing
is, any Scotsman that ever sees this movie will be deeply offended.
And the thing is, the way we describe the film, it sounds really, really funny, but it really is not.
No, it's not. It's a very boring film, and it's even more bizarre is considering that at least not even. I mean, so. The movie's focus is on Nessie herself, which you'd think would make for a fast-paced, entertaining, so bad it's a good movie, but the movie drags over and over and over again.
Yeah, the best example is, remember as a kid, you were watching a Godzilla movie and you wanted to see the monster fights, not the people talking? That's basically how I felt watching this.
I think the movie I compare this a lot to is the movie Planet of Dinosaurs. It reminds me a lot of that film. The difference...
There's a movie like that?
Yes, there is a movie like that, a stop-motion animation film.
Riff Tracks made fun of it.
Yes. The difference is that at least in that movie's case, I think it's way better than this film, but it has the same problem of whenever
well, at least it has something going for it. Like, you have the stop-motion dinosaurs, which are visually appealing, compared to, the long-necked sock puppet.
Right. Exactly. But in that movie's case... half the time, it's mostly just people walking. In this case, it's people talking, which is far worse.
Oh, it's the prequel Star Wars versus Lord of the Rings.
I don't profess to be an expert on Larry Buchanan, but I know very little about him. But what I have heard that he was one of those directors who would oftentimes his contract would be, you've got to deliver an 8-reel film, so basically like an 80-minute movie. And many times in his career, he would shoot all his human scenes and end up with 6 reels, so a 6-reel film, a 60-minute film, and he had to go shoot 20 minutes more footage. And my understanding is that as his career went along, he realized he was making his pace too snappy, and so he consciously started to slow things down in his films. And unfortunately, we seem to have arrived at a point where he's taken that philosophy to the utmost extreme, because this movie has feet of clay. It just drags endlessly. Every scene is painfully quiet. The acting is not the amusing, bad, over-the-top variety.
The characterization's not even good. I mean, the first thing that the guy who does after his friend gets murdered by Nessie is tell this one guy, hey, we just got evidence. I mean, yeah, my friend just died, but oh my God, we got evidence of Nessie.
Your friend's dead. Oh, he's an asshole. Don't worry about that. But we got evidence.
What the hell?
And Patrick, what you're basically telling us here is, all right, everyone, let's take our sweet time. I'm paid by the minute.
Yeah, more or less. That's my understanding of it. Again, I'm not a Buchanan expert, but that's just what little I've gleamed about him.
I'll say, is that not a title you want? Or
Yeah, because the only thing I know about Buchanan is that he worked on
this film.
Well, no, actually, I've actually known him for a couple of other films, but mainly, there was one film that I saw from him, which was a sort of horror comedy called The Eye Creatures, released in 1967. Thing is, Buchanan was really known for a lot of made-for-television rip-offs of other better movies.
Oh, so he did it for Sci-Fi, did it? Cool.
In a way, he kind of was the predecessor to the Sci-Fi Channel, ironically enough. And even then, the movies that he was ripping off from, a lot of them weren't exactly the best movies either. The Eye Creatures is a remake of Invasion of the Saucermen from 1957. There was a remake of It Conquered the World, even of adaptation of Richard Matheson's book short story Being, that he adapted called It's Alive. Nothing to do with the Larry Cohen film. I'm going to guess that this film was meant to be kind of his ripoff to Jaws, I guess, or his quote-unquote remake. And as you could tell, yeah, did not go well.
Wait, this is his ripoff to Jaws? I don't think he saw the movie.
I don't think so either. I'm guessing.
I don't think he saw this movie either, so.
I don't think he looked at a reel of this. What, are you kidding me?
And not only that, there's like some sort of conspiracy around what's down at the lake concerning World War II. They took a long time to explain it, but they never pushed it forward.
Yeah,
it was just exposition, and that's it.
They missed a great opportunity giving Nessie a little Charlie Chaplin stash to allude to the World War II thing. I say Charlie Chaplin because YouTube won't let us say the other word.
I was gonna say that was also like a really random thing to throw in. Like, really, World War II World War II elements bringing in here. Why? Like, what's the point? What does that have to do with Loch Ness? I mean, okay, I guess because it was around that Nessie was released was discovered at the same time period, but no one's gonna really care, quite frankly, about that. They're here to see the
Axis power wanted Nessie's power.
I guess.
I don't know what her power was, but they wanted it.
Well, given Nessie throughout the whole movie, I'm going to guess she has the ability to teleport, because somehow she can get from on land to sea without a single problem.
Oh, cool. She works like Jason.
Oh, God.
She lives in a lake. She lives in water. She teleports, and she randomly kills. Yeah, Nessie is Jason.
The thing is, I don't know what would be worse to be chased by, because at least with Jason, I won't laugh till I die.
And that's the other thing is like, kind of contrary to what Will is talking about is, the body count in this film is actually pretty low. I mean, ergo, there's not very much crazy monster action.
Yeah, not really a terror.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's not really going on in terms of like deaths in the movie. I mean, I think there's only, if I'm not mistaken, I think 3 deaths in the whole film.
I'm still not sure what.
No, wait. Five at least. 5.
It was 5.
I think. Hold on.
Did Nessie even kill those 2 soldiers, or did she just like bump them with her nose and they just fell over?
Yeah, I was about to say. Like, I think those guys got bumped in the nose. Obviously, she bored that guy in the middle.
Yeah, significantly 5 deaths.
Yeah, because there was the 2 diver. It was the one diver in the beginning. that couple. And I think that's it. I can't remember the other two, unless you want to count the soldiers. Then
Now,
yeah.
in defense of the soldier thing with Nessie touching with a nose, my dog does that to me to give me kisses. How do we know Nessie just wasn't kissing them?
Yeah, there you go.
Good point.
Boop.
Oh, and the point being, like, there's not that much crazy monster action. Therefore, the film doesn't really offer, what you're looking for in a so-called good bad movie. I mean, you're not getting any of the goods. No crazy monster action, no crazy character dialogue, and the movie just, again, it just drags endlessly for what feels like.
Imagine Godzilla versus Kong, but without like Godzilla fighting Kong.
I think the movie. Well, actually, then again, would the movie make it? Would Godzilla versus Kong be better with that at this point? I don't think so.
It reminds me of the driving scene in that 1970 Bigfoot film. It just goes on forever.
Oh God.
It just goes on forever.
In case you're wondering, yeah, we're gonna be talking about that movie eventually.
But that I'll say this, that film is better because of John Carradine.
Well, John Carradine, you could easily tell that he's slumping for a paycheck.
Yeah,
at least
but even still,
yeah.
even fourth tier John Carradine is better than what this film.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say. At least he's trying.
Actually, a better comparison is like in Birdemic, where instead of realizing the birds are attacking, they start talking about nature issues.
That's probably makes Birdemic funny as hell, though.
I'm not gonna lie.
The problem with that is they play up so much; it's ridiculous and hilarious. They aren't doing that in this movie.
No.
They try to take it way too seriously, and you just can't. And if Nessie didn't have arthritis in the neck.
Well, as Patrick said,
she didn't like turn the head or anything. Yeah, she didn't turn the head or anything. Like when she was biting the guy's head, it was holding perfectly still.
Yeah, she's holding. Yeah, she's not even biting him. She's holding her mouth open in the space around the guy, and he's just kind of like staying still, going like.
How did that kill him? How'd that kill him? Did it like traumatize him, or is it like it's strolling?
I'm gonna say that's the same way that Bela Lugosi died in Bride of the Monster, where he basically was just wiggling around, making it look like it was killing him until he fell to his death.
Yeah, but now Sippy was saying.
I'm pretty sure that given that he was an old man, I think he just had a heart attack or something.
Well, you see, at least that makes sense. If they said that Nessie killed him, no, he just died of a heart attack.
It was just trying to give him a little kiss. Come on.
How do we know Nessie just isn't super affectionate and we are just over exaggerating this film?
Exactly. I mean, it didn't take the time to kill the girl in the car or in the RV. So I'm pretty sure she was just trying to be overly affectionate. Apparently, some people took it the wrong way and they just effectively killed themselves, I guess.
I don't know. If you ask me, I think it was because if the guy did have a heart attack, it was probably because he saw what his paycheck was going to look like.
If that was true, all the actors would be dead.
Yeah, what paychecks would they be getting?
But yeah, that scene in the somewhere in the middle where Nessie ambushes the two soldiers and the Scottish guy with the beard. That's the only really funny scene in the movie, and part of it is funny because it's just so very poorly made. It's also one of those scenes where they play the footage at slow motion, but it's the kind of slow motion where they were just like copying frames, not doing actual slow motion photography, so it looks all jittery and stuttery. And meantime, the audio runs at normal speed on top of it, so it just so that kind of adds to the quote unquote bad movie charm. And plus, there's that great part where she's quote unquote biting him, and all of a sudden you kind of hear like a rip off of Herman's Psycho score, the ding ding ding
yes.
ding on the soundtrack.
Yeah. Now, I have to ask if you guys saw this happening in real life, saw someone being attacked by a very stiff-necked monster biting at them like this, would you be scared or just laugh in real life?
I would laugh.
No, I would start telling the director how to do his job because that's what. But then again, it wouldn't have been as funny. So there you go.
Yeah, because I keep on asking myself, would I be scared in this scenario? Would I laugh? It's kind of like when you watch Night of the Lepus. Ask, would these giant bunnies be scary in real life, or would they still be hilarious?
I would say if anything, somebody would just be like, as they're being chewed up, oh, they're chewing me to death.
That's probably what they say about Nessie too. Oh, he's teething.
See, what weirder about the Nessie puppet is that it actually kind of got resurrected a couple years later, because I found out that the puppet was later reused, I'm sorry, that's an insult to puppets. It was actually reused in Amazon Women of the Moon, which was actually co-directed by John Landis and Joe Dante.
Is it wrong I want this puppet?
I don't know. I'm not.
And not just that, I want to rig it to just randomly attack people at the door. and film it with my Ring doorbell and just put each one on YouTube.
But for anyone watching this right now, I'm gonna send the boys like the picture from that scene from Amazon Women, and this would have made the whole movie. This is what we saw.
Do I count as an Amazon woman? I worked there.
You assuming your own gender there, my friend?
Nah, I gave up assuming about myself.
Anyways, guys, I left the link.
Yep, that's more interesting than this film.
Just imagine.
Yeah, if Nessie went around wearing a cowboy hat while she was just strolling in the woods and bump people with her nose, yeah, that'd be a little funnier than what we saw here.
Yeah, imagine.
You could have seen the whole body. That way, it could have been funnier if she had a kilt.
I like to think you could find this puppet in the Smithsonian right next to the giant mechanical King Kong head and the armature of King Kong.
From the 76
Truly
movie?
icons. Yes, they truly icons.
Wait, which one? From the 76 King Kong?
Yes, it's all the way in the back of the Smithsonian.
God.
Like you have to get, like you actually need to open a door to get to it.
Oh,
but you're not allowed you're not allowed past that door.
Oh God, you're giving me Vietnam flashbacks to the Cybot in 76.
Yeah, right along a sculpt of the 1998 Godzilla. That's where they keep all the shame of America. There's a lot of pictures of different presidents back there too, so they don't specify, but we know who the presidents are.
Yeah.
Is it funny? Is it funny that we had a terrible president named Buchanan and a terrible director named Buchanan at the same time?
Maybe they're related.
I thought that was a sign of the apocalypse.
It might be.
Say, isn't that what they said in the Bible?
Maybe when they meant the world was maybe in 2012 with the world ending, maybe they mentioned it was actually because of the Buchanans.
Well, President Buchanan gave us.
Wouldn't that mean that Gary Busey is also one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse? Then,
yes.
Yeah, of course. Alongside John Travolta and Nick Cage.
Yeah, he's actually the horseman of war because he got Me Too'd and he started a war on Twitter.
Wait, then who's the 4th? Then we got 3.
Nicolas Cage.
No, we already got Cage.
Oh, we already got Cage?
Yeah.
Yeah, we already got Cage.
Who directed Birdemic? I mentioned him a couple times already. Might as well just throw him in there.
James Wen.
I can't imagine a better horseman of death, honestly.
What about Ed Wood? No, wait. What about, and bear with me on this one, Uwe Boll?
I was just about to say Uwe Boll. If you can't tell right now that, yeah, we're kind of going off subject because there's not much to talk about with this movie. It's a painfully boring experience that's only real highlight is a scene you can find on YouTube. That's
like I said, I remember nothing of this film at all. And I watched it yesterday. Even after I watched it, I was like, the fuck happened?
Yeah.
I was just praying for it to be over soon, but then I realized there's an hour left, and I'm like, God damn it, why?
Best way to describe this film, if you ever question your own writing, don't.
Exactly.
Honestly, though, in a weird sort of way, I would not necessarily recommend this movie, but if you ever want to
really?
Really? But
you would not recommend this film to people? Why not?
What? No. But if you're an aspiring film writer and you want to know what not to do and how not to make a movie, this could be a good example.
Any movie we reviewed.
I'm just saying, this would be a good example of the show in film classes of how not to make a film.
Yeah, the Loch Ness horror. It's I think I speak for everybody here. Like, the Loch Ness monster is a very endearing cryptid. I mean, yeah, we all know it's bullshit. We all know it's not real, but we still like the idea of the Loch Ness monster. It's a very endearing idea for a creature. Yeah, this movie does that. The mystery and the intrigue of that cryptid, no honor whatsoever.
None.
Just like most adaptations of cryptids, sadly.
Like the vast majority of them, unfortunately, yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think that probably the best example of the Loch Ness monster I could think of so far was the Water Horse film from 2007.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'd rather review that personally.
Yeah,
it felt like it expanded more on the lore from its origins to its to now. But even so, as much as like that film is probably as bad as we think, It's probably not as bad as this, what we just
All right,
witnessed.
I have to ask both Ace and Sippy on this. Out of all the movies we watched, would you say this is the worst?
Oh, that's tough.
Because to me, it's far worse than being the worst. It's the most boring. Because
You know
it's
what?
so
It is
horrible
boring.
film
It
you can
is
make fun
boring.
of.
I would rather watch the Mothman Sippy channel movie.
Carved.
You know what? You know what? I might say the same thing because it doesn't quite get to the point of being downright worse, where it's that perfect balance between being boring and frustrating at the same time. But it definitely leans on the boring side, and I consider that to be far worse than something that was aggravating.
Yeah. It's like I told a friend of mine after seeing Captain Marvel, it's not a bad film, it's worse. It's a boring film.
Mm-hmm.
And what one movie is not supposed to do to an audience is bore them.
Exactly. So even a bad movie, even like a so bad it's good, but you're enjoying it in some way. Like even the sci-fi Mothman movie, I was making fun of it the whole time, and even in Carved, I was doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
But I couldn't make fun of this. Because it was just everyone was so boring. I couldn't like poke fun at it.
I might be alone in this, but I think the best Loch Ness movie is the movie just called Loch Ness from the '90s with Ted Danson. It's not really about the monster. It's more about it's more of a character study about somebody who's trying to solve the mystery of the creature and whatnot. The creature doesn't really become a thing until towards the end of the film, and it's more of a character study than anything else.
Kind of like Mothman Prophecies.
So it's basically just like what the hunt for the Loch Ness monster is doing to a certain character.
It's basically that. It's a character study. It's well acted. It's got a nice score to it, and it's definitely an imperfect film. It's got some notable script flaws, but it's a decent little entertainment film. And for my money, that's probably the only really good Nessie film that I'm aware of. There's one film that I'm kind of curious about. I believe it was the first Nessie film ever made from 1934 called Secret of the Loch, where the monster was portrayed using an iguana filmed on a set with a fish tank between it and the camera, making it like it was underwater and whatnot. I've not seen that film. I'm kind of curious to see it for historical reasons.
Yeah, that was 1934.
1934.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious of seeing that too. I haven't seen that movie. I believe it's on YouTube for free as a public domain film.
It's a British film. I have not seen it, but I'm curious about it. Yeah.
Let me see. Okay, yeah, it is on YouTube. There's there's like a half an hour showing of it. I don't know if that's the full movie, but probably not. But at least it's something. Yeah, because the only two movies I could think of that are like good Loch Ness monster filming.
Yeah, to our viewers, you can actually watch this movie on YouTube if you're like curious.
Yeah, and it's infinitely better than Loch Ness Horror. We'll tell you that right now. But like you, Patrick, I agree that Loch Ness '96. I remembered seeing that as a kid, and that is a pretty good movie. And even then, I'll defend the movie Waterhorse when I saw that in theaters, because that was a decent little Spielberg-esque whimsical type of movie that worked for its purpose.
This wasn't Spielberg level to you?
It has the same kind of whimsical nature, though. That's what I'm trying to get at. I'm not saying it's as good as a Spielberg movie, obviously, but it has that same vibes. If you get
I mean the movie we just watched.
No, what are you kidding me?
You're saying that's not Spielberg level?
No. Fuck no.
I was gonna say there's a really good biography on Spielberg by a guy named Joseph McBride, which delves into his early making films as a teenager, and as the guy says, you can tell they're films made by a teenager, but you can still tell they were made by somebody who actually had a genuine promise and talent for making a film. So he just hadn't quite developed his skills yet, and he documents how Spielberg was very good at getting his high school classmates and whatnot to follow his directions and get access to things that he needed to shoot things. And I think adolescent Spielberg was more resourceful, more clever, and more capable than Larry Buchanan was through the entire making of this sad excuse of a movie. So don't even compare Loch Ness Horror to any Spielberg film of any caliber.
Yeah, thank you. So, guys, what would be our rating for this dumpster fire?
Me personally, I'd rate it 0 donkeys. No asses given.
Sippy, what about you?
I think I'll give it at least one bad Scottish accent out of 5, I guess.
All right, Patrick, yourself?
I'll give it half of a old man somehow imploding himself to death inside Nessie's mouth out of 5 because that scene's the only amusing scene in the entire movie. So for that scene alone, it gets a half a point, and that's the best I can give it.
I will give it half a Muppets, half a Bang Dang Muppet sleeping bag party out of 5.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Before we end it, I want to give a shout out to our buddy Creature Preacher, who we talked to a couple episodes about. His Kickstarter, he told me actually met his goal. Yeah, and what he is making a Sophie or some what's it called? Those type of figures?
Plushie?
Not plushie. It's like a soft vinyl figure. I think it had a weird name to it, but he is making a Loch Ness monster figure that he'll be selling soon.
Nice.
So I think I give a shout out here since we're talking about the Loch Ness monster.
Yeah, perfect timing. And of course, Patrick, thank you for joining us. We are sorry that you had to go through this movie. Hopefully, next time you come on, it'll be a much better film.
We're not letting you out of the mirror.
Oh, okay.
But really, thank you for joining us.
No, thanks for having me. It was fun to be here. It was more fun discussing this film with you guys than it was watching the film itself. And looking forward to
that's usually how our reviews work, honestly.
Sadly true. So, Patrick, where can people find you?
Sure. So you can read my content at sci-fi.com. I've contributed a couple of essays to John LeMay's The Lost Films fanzine. You can also watch the archived interviews and panels of the online convention that I co-organized called Kaiju Masterclass on YouTube. Just look up our convention by its name, Kaiju Masterclass. We've interviewed people involved in the realm of Japanese special effects filmmaking. So we've interviewed directors like Shinji Higuchi, Shusuke Kaneko, the late Kazuki Omori. We've interviewed composers like Reijiro Koroku, Michiru Oshima, David Arnold, Bear McCreary, et cetera and so forth. And you can also read my book, Ruan Ling Yu, Her Life and Career. It's available on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback. And the book recently got its second edition released. It's been updated with new formatting, new covers, and new information.
Yes.
Wow, his resume is way better than ours.
For good reason. And
Really
as
impressive.
someone who has read the Ruan Ling Yu biography, I highly recommend reading it. It's an excellent book, and it goes. And if you ever want to know what it was like back in China during the 1920s through the 30s, through the Silent Age, please do yourself a favor, check out that book. It's a wonderful read.
Thank you, Ace. Thank you.
No problem. All right, so for next time, we're going to be traveling from Loch Ness to the open woods as we discuss a cryptid that's also part of mythology as we dive into the legend that is the Wendigo, but from a very popular publisher.
From me?
No, not from you.
So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us on this special episode of Cryptic Collectors. Once again, my name is SippyVA. We are joined by...
I have been William is going to get Nessie here, Kerning.
I have been Ace Marrok.
And I have been and still am Patrick Galvan.
From the woods to Hollywood, this has been Cryptic Collectors.